Hello, imaginary internet friends. Welcome to my channel. I am Mild Kratz, and today you're watching What Have We Learned? Episode 1. Today's episode is about Pokemon. Now, Pokemon has had kind of a resurgence in its popularity thanks to Pokemon Go, and then, people stopped caring about that game almost immediately. I'm probably like one of 100 people who still play it, but I still play it, so that's cool. That's one thing you've learned about me now, I guess. But what about Pokemon? What has that taught us? Since back in its early days in Game Boy even. So this video is the top 5 things I've learned from playing Pokemon games. Number 1. Animal cruelty is awful. Unless you're making bank. If you're making a lot of money, then it's at least less awful, right? I think that's one thing that Pokemon illustrates pretty well is how it's okay to trap animals and make them fight as long as you're making some sweet kashish. And between you and I, there's a lot of money to be made in Pokemon World, especially in later games where you can just keep going through the Elite Four over and over and over again. Number 2, statistically speaking, you're not special. And that's kind of sad, but it's pretty true. So, how do you consider yourself special in the Pokemon world? Well, you could be a shiny. The chances of you being a shiny, though, are pretty astronomical. I think like randomly happening upon one is like 1 in 1,000, like 1,080-ish or something, to be randomly encountered if you're just experiencing the same Pokemon over and over again. So that's a fraction of a percent. And even if you're shiny, chances are you're still crap, because Pokemon are also evaluated on their individual values, right? So even if you're really shiny and cool and different, you're probably still not as good as someone who's just normal. So even if you're special, you're not that special, and you're really not cool. Number 3, stick to your own type, because other types could be dangerous. Like for me, I find myself being a fire trainer a lot. Even back in Gen 1, I played Charmander. Well, I guess originally I picked Squirtle, but it's because my friend prodded me into doing that. And I don't think that really counts because it was on his Game Boy and I wasn't allowed to overwrite his save file, obviously. But he was a big Squirtle fan. I think he still is. Wayne. You'll meet him, I think. And anyway, not for me. I think once I finally got my own copy of the game and Game Boy, I immediately picked Charmander. I don't know, there's just something about fire types that resonate with me. Maybe it's just my fiery passion or something. But the fact that Wayne is a water type is the reason I don't hang around him very much. And it's really bizarre that we spent so much of our lives being best friends. And yeah, because he's dangerous for me, I think. Anyway, the point is, try not to associate or talk with other types outside of your own. Just stick with your own. So if you're a fire type or an electric type, just stick with fire and electric types, and you'll be a lot safer. Number 4, you can be anything you want to be. But it might be something stupid, like a set of keys, or a dishwasher, or a bag of garbage. So if you want to be some of those things, you absolutely can be them, but people will make fun of you. Just know that. So it's okay if you're a furry or a weeb or a neckbeard. I think everyone is a percent of those things. I'm definitely a large percent neckbeard. I'm not John Sudano levels, but I'm pretty close. Unfortunately, I'm gravitating away from John Sudano levels. I'm moving away from like the Boogie 2988 status of being a weeb or a neckbeard. But yeah, you can be anything you want in this world, but people will make fun of you. Again, especially if you're a bag of garbage. Number 5. It's okay to bully people who are weaker than you as long as they started it. I think anyone who's played Pokemon long enough knows who Youngster Joey is, and how amazing his Rattata is, or has met a number of, let's say, bug catchers or mountain climbers, and all these people seem to have the same types of Pokemon. They're extremely predictable. A lot of them are under-leveled, but because the Pokemon matching system is just based on darting glances, and if they happen to look at you first, you're completely justified in completely shutting them down and just destroying them and ruining their day. It's okay. It's okay to do this as long as they made eye contact with you first It's not like a morally ambiguous gray area to beat up someone who's significantly weaker than you. And then especially take money from them. That's kind of like part 5.5, is that it's okay to take money from children. Especially, like kindergartners or bug catchers, that sort of thing. Kids that have no business being Pokemon trainers. Teach them maybe the 6th point really early on is that it's a cruel world and there's no room for mercy. So absolutely destroy every opponent you ever meet. It's okay to bully people as long as they started it. If they instigated things, you're in the clear. So anyway, that's the short of what we've learned about playing Pokemon. I'm sure there's all kinds of other lessons that could be learned. Leave them down in the comments. I'm curious as to what Pokemon has taught you. Hopefully there are some actually positive moral values in the game. Just for me, the animal cruelty, the senseless greed, and bullying seem to be like kind of the bigger overarching themes. And I know I'm kind of nitpicking. The game's great. I play all of them. Because, again, neckbeard. But let me know what you think. Why do you play these games? And, what have you learned from gaming? Share your experiences down in the comments section. And if you enjoyed what you saw here today, subscribe. I plan on bringing out more content. And I plan on getting some better locations and things. This is like a really terribly shot... I think ISIS would be embarrassed to publish this video. But unfortunately, I need content, so I'm going to have to put it out. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time. Share with it down me... A bag of garbage.